Uncle Mark here, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome to you too. Working on a 1996 Buick. It's a Park Avenue. The sabers are the same, I believe. If you have a 96, I'll list in the bottom here what years this kind of covers, but it's the 3800 Series 2, taking the oil pan off for the 5, 10, 15th, 16th time. So I think I can do it quick. I'll show you how to do this. It's pretty easy. I've got all my measurements as to what I'm going to need because I've had it off a few times before. First thing we're going to want to do is do an oil change to it. So it looks like 15 millimeter oil bung, and we'll do that right now. Some of the other tools we're going to need: 8 millimeter socket. We're going to need a inch-pound torque wrench to put the pan back on properly. What else do we have here? The pan is 3/4 inch little bolts, so you want that plus a ratchet and an extension. Let's see how hard it is to do. It's not too bad. Oh, plus a big crescent wrench for, there's a sensor there for your oil level. That comes off pretty easy too. At least it does the 16th time. Got it jacked up. I've got it on stands and on the jack stands and on jacks. 15 millimeter is going to undo the oil pan bolt. Bung. Need some oil. I'll have this oil pan off in no time at all. Nice to have these ratcheting wrenches. You can do it without it. Oh, it's a little warm. Always get some on your hands. Maybe we should wear gloves. Let's get out from under here. Got a filter wrench under here. Grab our filter here. Oops. Of course, this is going to want to be stuck on here now. There we go. Probably going to get my hand wet again. There we go. It's going to leak everywhere. Yeah, typical. Yeah, that's just the way it is. Guess we could have a glove on. Wear a glove. It's my bruise from my last little adventure. Yeah, let's let that drip. You're gonna need your crescent wrench. This is a 12-inch. And you're gonna need it about, well, some kind of size around there. Let's fiddle around and see what we got. You'll see right about, if I can get all my tools in here properly. Right here. See that? You have to pull this little baby up like that and pop her out. This has come off a few times, but I'll show you what it looks like. It's just a plug. Like that with a little springy thing. Take that off, tuck it up in there, but don't forget it. Well, you'll know later on. And then this is where you use, whoa, this big crescent wrench. Well, we're still under the car, so I'm gonna put the drain plug hole back in because it's gonna just drip and drip and drip, drip forever. It's not gonna matter because we're gonna have the oil pan off right away, so let's tighten that up. If you remember when we took it off, well, it just came off, right? It's at 14, the 14 or 15? It's 15 millimeter. I'm just gonna stick that baby back in there. You don't need a ratcheting one of these. I'll try and put a link in the description for one though, because they're really handy, and this one's a flex head too. That's nice. Anyway, it doesn't, well, might as well make it as tight as you're gonna make it because it's not coming off again. So it'll be snug. Now, if we come under here, there was a cover under here which I haven't put back on. This is a plastic bolt or a plastic piece, a shield, just I guess so junk doesn't get on your flywheel. Bolt there, bolt there. Not really sure how big they were. I'll show you what that shield looks like though. That's what it kind of looks like. So it must bolt, I guess we were looking at the bottom. It's going to go up like this. So there's the two holes we showed you, and I've got my bolts in here somewhere. I'm not sure what size they are. Maybe we'll find out right now. Eventually they're going to go back on. They're just little guys, look at them. Confirmed they're 10mm bolts. They're almost like screws. Just hold the little plastic thing on. Let's go back under there and get the pan off. Front of the car is this way. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use a machine powered. It's going to be a lot quicker. Actually, what I should do is I should get, whoa. Just give me a second here. I want magnetic little dish to throw all these in. That makes it a lot easier. So I'm just going to drop them in there, and then they can't fall out. It makes it handy because these are going to be falling everywhere. I'm just going to make some room here. Take the oil pan, move it under the car there somewhere. For now, take my little Imperial margarine, not a sponsor, put it under where that's going to drip, because it's going to drip on the floor. And I need this room here. Let's go back under and see what we can get. Maybe a few more of these guys out of here. Like I say, you could do this with your normal ding. Just with ratchet. That's what I did the first couple times, and then I bought this little thing here. Buddy mine's like, buy that, you'll love yourself. So it's like, well, I love loving myself, so go under here. Pull these out. Have to be careful. Want to come see what I'm doing? Sure, come on under. This is the passenger side. There's our oil filter there. So I'm just doing every, second or third one or whatever. Drop it in there. Probably should be some kind of order to this, but whoa, you guys okay? I'm gonna leave one on this side of the pan. I'm gonna leave one in the middle on the other side of the pan. Let me show you. It's hard to explain, but I'm gonna leave one on this side here somewhere. Just it's one on each end, one there, and one on that side. That'll hold the whole pan up. Does that make sense? 6 more of these off. Ooh. Much nicer than air tools too. It's just this little thing is just lickety slap. Just want to come over this way. See what else I'm doing here. Whoa! Did it get you? I don't know exactly how many of these are. We'll count them. Not that it really matters. And it's good. Whoa, it keeps hitting you guys. It always seems one rolls under somewhere, and then you end up losing one. Just seems to be the way it is. I always seem to find them. So maybe don't do this outside. Or at least do it on concrete somewhere where you can make sure you know where they all are. If they fall somewhere. If it's in the grass, I bet you won't find it. There's one here. Oh, what's going on? Helps going the right way. How are we doing here? There's one here yet. First time I did this, I had left that sensor in here and it's in the way. It's in the way for this and it's in the way to get the bolts in and out of. How are we doing? Come on. guys still with me? A little more light, maybe. How are we doing? I think there's a couple more here. There's one there. There's one on this side here. I don't know if you could see it. And then, like I say, I've got one right about here somewhere. So I'm just gonna have to pull the rest. I think this, are they all out? They're all out. Okay, this is the tricky part. I'm gonna hold this with my one hand, zip off the other two, and then slowly bring this down. I'll let you guys see it from out here. Just hang on. Those two, you see how, must have a good 3 inches of clearance here between the floor and like put it up as high as you can lift it, support it properly, and then you can get under there, because first few times they didn't have it high enough and your face is getting hit on the pan and everything else. You need lots of room. Okay, let's continue, I guess. Are you with me so far? You don't want to garage do it. It's easy enough. If you've done any kind of, if you've done an oil change, I think you can do this. Let's continue. A piece of cardboard usually works, but so apply this under the two, hold the whole thing up. It's not that heavy, but might just have a little bit of stuff in it, like half a liter oil or something. I'm just gonna let that fall. Let that one fall too. Hopefully I find them later. I'll see there's a few more on there and just drop it. You might have to wiggle it around a little bit because you'll see there's a sump, oil sump hanging there. Come take a look. Is that still dripping? Put it there. See, there's your oil sump. And inside the engine. I'm going to take this off too. I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to pull the dipstick out though, just so I don't break it by accident. You can just sit somewhere there. So maybe we'll just wipe the oil off it so now we get oil and everything. Hard to do with one hand on a camera and one hand on... That should be good there. Let's go back under again. So this is just kind of sitting here. There's a, follow this tube. Well, you can see it here. There it is. An 8mm on this side, and there's an 8mm on the other side. I've got a wire restricting me from going somewhere here. You loosen one. When you loosen the other one, this is going to dump oil like crazy. Let's watch. I'm taking those guys off, and I'm going to put an 8mm with a swivel. I'm using, this is 3/8. And you'll see it's going to be a lot easier. There's one of those bolts is going to be just about impossible to get. Let's go under there. You can do this again with a ratchet, not a big deal. Let's see, try not to get soaking wet. I'm going to do the hard one fine first. Okay, we're pretty good. The first time I did this, I got a face full of oil, because you think, oh, there's no oil in there. Just wait till you see how much. This is a different bolt. I'm going to put it with those other ones in that little bolt pan. I'm going to stand it up special. Okay, you want to watch? Don't get wet. You will not believe how much. Make sure you got a pan to catch it, because it's going to make a mess. We're going to be good here? I think so. Here we go. Ah. Okay, this windage tray, or whatever you want to call it, is going to want to come out. But I think I should just probably taking this whole thing off. Kind of holding it up there and kind of not. You'll figure it out. Actually, what you can do now is this will move around. You can just kind of get it to come out. It only goes on one way. looks the same as the pen. I'll show you that in a minute. Should we show you under here what we're doing? Oh, you can kind of see, can't you? Can we zoom in? If my fingers will let me. Hopefully there's enough light. Get this last. Whoa! Yeah. Hey, we're okay. This is not good. All right, let's get you out of here. Come on. Let's zoom out. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of an oil pan gasket slash windage tray or whatever you're going to call it. It's just to help the oil not slosh around too much, and then it can't, you know, maybe it's sloshed all the way to the back, then it wouldn't be able to suck. These are, I don't know, $120 Canadian from GM. You might be able to reuse it. This one I've taken off about 13 times. I haven't been, you won't be doing it that many times. You're just probably doing it once because it was leaking or something. Look around. You can probably get this a few other places. I got it from somewhere else. They're not a sponsor, so I'm not going to say where. But you can see the oil in there. There's a little bit of oil still. Try and show you something here too if we can. If you look at these bolts. Sorry guys. So this is the one from the oil pan, and this is the one from the oil sump. See the difference? Have enough light there? They're quite a bit different. Thread might be the same, but they're different. The head itself, like it's very close. Like I said, one's 3/8, one's 8mm, but the 8mm one, the one that goes on all your pan gaskets, has a really big, almost looks like a washer. It's part of that. So there's going to be two of these that are a little different. If you go through your little pile, you'll be able to find where the other one is, but I just set it aside. Just know it's little. Now, like I said, you can't really lose them. One other suggestion, if the pan's gonna be up for a while, just put something underneath and let that sit there. Because I want to work on this. This has been the problem. I'll put a link to it. You see, it's hard to see, but that screen should be clear, and it's, if you really saw it from my angle, I can't. It's not. There's actually something on it. It's not bad compared to the way it usually is. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like clean. I don't know if you can see how much better this is now. You can actually see in there. The screen was kind of plugged with, well, I'll leave a description. We'll click on it right now and you'll see what this car's been through. Before I got it, I don't know, somebody had a rag inside it. And maybe this is gonna work. We'll put this back on. Nothing wrong with that. There is a gasket. It's sitting on the engine itself that goes between this and the engine, just in case yours is missing. I need those two little bolts that are a little different than the others. Okay. Put this baby back on. So, I'd probably put, this only goes two ways. One way is, it'll sit flat like that. The other way, if you put it on there, it's gonna sit like that. And that's no good. You want this sitting flat. So I'm gonna put one of these on just loosely. We'll get you under here. What are we trying to do? We're trying to find this, right? Okay. Position that. Will they see? Yes, they will. You guys are still with me, right? Just remember how this goes on? It has to be, it can't go that way. It has to go kind of flat. So I'm just gonna put just slightly on, just so that, there you go, kind of hangs. Because you're gonna see right away, where's the other one now? Darn. There it is. You need to take that tray, or whatever you want to call it, this baby, the big hole, this has to loop around. That's why you want it to be able to move a little bit. It's kind of a wiggle thing. And then it just kind of sits there when this goes back on. Doesn't sit very well. If you can see what I'm doing. Come on. I think I'm getting my hair full of oil. Darn. Good thing I don't have long hair. Okay, let's try and zing this back on just lightly. This really should be torqued, so I'm going to torque it. Okay. I want to make sure it's sitting good, because if not, it's not good. If it doesn't make a good seal, it is not going to want to suck oil. Okay. Now we did our inch-pound torque wrench. Oh boy. Where did that go now? Hang on a minute. I'll show you something. This is why you never want to buy an old person's car. I guess you'll call me old person too. This oil doesn't have very many miles, and then see this gross color there? It's because the old guy, me, that drives it, only goes about 5 kilometers a day. Well, let's say 10. So what's that? 6 or 7 miles or something like that. The thing doesn't warm up, and you get this kind of a sludge. I'll show you what this looks like, and it's gross. Look at this. Not a selling feature. How many old people, like the little lady that just goes to church on Sunday? Look at that. It's gross. I'm going to try some brake clean. Just to see if I can clean it up a little better. I don't know if you can really see how gross this is. Get a good light. Is that a little better? Yeah, and what can I really do about it? I guess if I would drive further than work is, I should just walk. But in the wintertime too, and this to do the oil change, I drove for about 20 minutes. I've heard rumors that when your oil gets like this, you'd probably have to drive it for 5 hours to get all the moisture and guck out of it. This is a good oil I'm using. And a really good filter. Anyway, this is going to be good enough because you know what it's going to look like in a little while again. This is showing from the wrong side, but it doesn't really matter. When you put the bolts back on, they're going to want you to torque them kind of like in a crisscross fashion somehow. It's going to be a lot of fun. Once you're under there, you're not going to know where the heck you are. And they're supposed to be 144 inch-pounds, I think. I'm going to do them to about 90 for now. I don't know if you want to do them in 2 steps or not. I don't even know if they suggest that, but let's get it back on. And remember, we'll be putting that oil sensor back in there after. That faces the front of the engine. Let's go back. Well, let's see if we can get that back on. Oh, we didn't torque that yet, did we? Hang on. I'm going to just torque this sump here before I... Now, the book says if it's before 90, I guess 95 and older, they're saying 96 or inch-pounds. I believe is what it is. There's something gurgling. Let's see here. Inch-pounds, right? Darn. Inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, so 96 are saying this is a year is 96, so they're saying 132 inch-pounds. So I think we're doing like 140 or something, but I guess we can do like 135 or something.
Try and keep it. Some guys would just tighten it already, but I don't want to strip it, and I don't want it to run out of. I'm just tighten that up just a little bit. Tighten this one up till it clicks. There we go. Tighten this one up till it clicks. Okay. Looks good. Now let's put the
Our pan bolts back on. No, those were 8mm with the sump. The rest of these are. You remember what they are? Where are they here now?
Now this is where 2 hands are extra personal danger. You have to just get that over the pump there. Whoops. And I'm gonna thread one in here. Might have to just kind of feel your way around a little bit. Now the one side's easy to do, the other side. Balance a nut in here, or bolt. See if we can get it around the frame, go around this side. Hold it with my arm, and a hole in just slowly. I don't want it too tight because you'll see that pan gasket or windage, whatever the heck it is, may not line up, so you want to try and line some bolts up before you overdo them. You want to be careful too, because you could strip your threads and that wouldn't be good. So you have to be very, very, very careful. Here, I'll show you what we're doing again. Come on, you want to be with me. Try to get some of these on here. Hopefully you can see what we're doing. We'll do a couple of them and then we'll come back to it. I'm just lightly getting them in there. Like I say, this is what, 13th time I've had this off, so. And the reason for that was car needed a bunch of work when I got it, and somebody did some work on the intake and forgot a rag or something in there. It was actually, we were trying to figure out what kind of rag it was, and it turned out to be, I think, paper towel. And it took a lot of monkeying around to get that filter through. Problem is, it wouldn't get stuck in the oil filter. It gets stuck on the sump pickup. Real pain in the butt. Now I'm gonna try and get some of these tightened. Now we're gonna go to the next step. We're gonna go to, what did I say, 132. Okay. 32, and it's supposed to be crisscross kind of a thing here. This side. And go on this side. Could almost sing. Can you see anything? I'm gonna find the. It's really hard to do the crisscross thing. Wasn't he a singer, crisscross? I might have goofed it. Sure seems like. Well, just about impossible. Well, I guess nothing's impossible. Guess I'm just a little lazy, huh? And I'll finish them up. Just give me a second. Okay. I'm just gonna strain this out a little bit, because my other problem, you don't have to strain. I'm going to though.
We have our dipstick to put back in. Hard to do when you're using the left hand and you're right-handed. Then we don't want to forget this thing, our oil level sensor. That actually works. It's kind of interesting. My understanding is it resonates like at a frequency or something like that, and if it's in liquid, the frequency is different than if it's out of liquid. And that's how it knows, because I thought there was an eye here or something, but I don't think that's how it works. I think it just knows if it's in liquid or not, whatever pulsing it does. Anyway, let's stick it back in. And of course, when we click it on, the plug that goes on it only goes one way because of that piece. And it clicks on there. Let's stick it in.
Okay, let's go under here. And it is right there. So I'll just move you guys a little bit. Move your lighting a little bit. Hopefully that helps. Now we go towards the, I might have said passenger, but I think it's actually the connector to the driver's side. That's the way it goes. And just wiggle it around, and then you'll get it in there. And just don't cross thread it, which you won't be able to cross thread by hand, trust me. Tighten her up. My boo-boo from another video I was doing on my wife's fan, showing the spare tire. Then you get your multi-size crescent wrench and tighten it to doesn't have to be super tight, it just doesn't have to leak. There you go. Now, of course, we had our wire tucked in here somewhere. Feel around. I can feel it. Come on. Don't hide it. There you go. Little guy. And it just clicks back on. Like, come on. There. Good. Okay, we got the bung on. We can put some oil in it now. Whoa. Guys, okay? Glass is falling off. Good thing these are the ones I can scratch. Let's see. Got an oil filter here. Well, let's put a little bit of oil in it first. Then we'll screw it back on.
Ahead of myself. We're going to put some in the filter first, weren't we? Do we dare do that like this? Should be enough. Let's go back under there, put the filter back on.
Okay, let's go back under here.
We're good now, right? Sure hope so. Let's pour the back in. Black gold. This is April, well, basically May. It's April 29th, I think. 2020. Remember this date because I think they'll pay you to take their oil. Of course, you have to actually literally go get it. And that's going to cost you quite a bit. So if you had stock in oil, it's going to cost you. Literally, it's an oil future, and when it comes up, I guess, they have to unload it and literally have to move it somewhere because there's nowhere to store it. The way I understand it. I don't know what it was worth. They were paying 40 bucks. Somewhere in there, 35 bucks a drum. But then, of course, the drum itself's worth something, so there must be a deposit on that, and they're probably worth 130 bucks or something. It's a long spiel of a whole bunch of stuff. Open back in. And let's fire up. Hopefully I'm not too dirty. It's been on the floor enough, so we're just going to throw that in there. Now here's the trick. I don't want it to start right away. I'm going to hold it right to the floor. And this is a fuel injected vehicle 96 and newer. Right to the, don't let go. And you can crank it over as long as you want, it will not start. I'm just trying to build oil pressure without it starting. Okay, I just seem to need to move a little bit. I think this is good enough. I'm going to let go of the gas. It should start. A little trick you learned from Unclemarks. Sounds okay. Okay. Good enough. Well, that is that. I had it all already off the jack stands. I should have said that before I started it. Dropped her down. If you're wondering if that looks like there's nothing in there, it's the new stuff. So it's almost clear. I didn't use the Dextron this time because, I don't know, there's Dextron stuff. There you can see something's in there. Yeah, that should be good. Well, that's going to do. That's how you do oil pan. And the gasket, or, well, it's a whole windage, windrow, wind something on this oil baffle, I guess what you want to call it. What time is it? It's 3 o'clock now. Started at 12 o'clock-ish, so, but I did, you got to remember, there were some breaks in between there. I had to position cameras, etc., etc. So you should be able to do that. 12, 1, 2, 3. You can do it in a couple hours, I think. Allow yourself 3. You'll do it for sure. Hey, I've just made myself, even if, you know, they charged you $110 or $120 an hour plus taxes and shop fees and stuff like that, it's going to be 150, 60, 70 bucks, at least here in Canada. Anyway, enjoyed the video, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, well, I guess thumbs down. Hopefully you learned something though. Subscribe if you'd like, flashing subscribe button there. I'll put a link up on this side, I think, yes, to that other engine, the problem I've had and why, oh, can't forget, 16 times, 5, 10, 15, 16 times I've had that oil pan off. The first couple times was kind of scary. Now it's like, you know, friends of mine will say, you're gonna take it off one more time? It's like, yeah, because every time there's less goo in there. Check it out. Thanks for watching. I hope you and your family are staying safe. We are here in friendly Manitoba, Canada. So far, okay. Actually, Manitoba has been pretty good for not a whole lot of the sicknesses that have been going around. So far, we'll see a little later on. We're probably one of the few provinces in Canada. And there's Saskatchewan, there's some northern, I think one northern province had nothing so far. But you stay safe anyway. Enough babbling on. Take care. Thanks for watching.
Your safety is your responsibility and should be priority number 1. Also, if you like the video, why not give me the thumbs up? Plus, please subscribe. You can just ring the bell to get all notifications. It's easy. We'll show you how. Ring the bell. Ring the bell.